and a very warm welcome to all of you all. I'm Meha Bharadwaj Alter. What an absolute masterclass we saw from Mahendra Singh Dhoni last night as CSK beat Gujarat Titans at home to enter their 10th final of the IPL. We will discuss that match. What went wrong with Gujarat Titans? Was it the batting order? Was it Hardik Pandya coming in at number 3? Was it the over-dependence on Shubman Gill? Or were they simply outplayed by MSD and his spinners? We will ask all those questions, but good news for GT is that they have another chance at reaching the finals. Who will they face in qualifier 2 will be decided tonight as Mumbai Indians take on Lucknow Super Giants in the eliminator at the MA Chidambaram Stadium. So, who out of LSG and MI is better suited to the slow conditions at Chepauk? Who will win tonight? Will it be Mumbai Indians, the most successful team in the history of the IPL? Will they win tonight, or will it be Lucknow Super Giants who know how to handle these conditions? These conditions in Chennai very similar to what they have faced in Lucknow, their home ground. So they have that advantage, but who will be the winner tonight? Let's put that question to our two experts. Jamie Alter joins us. Vedam Jaishankar joins us. Let me begin with Vedam then. Vedam, you were spot on with your prediction last night. Darshan Nalkande could have proved you wrong, but that no ball changed the game. So congratulations on an accurate prediction. But this is again a match which will come down to how both the teams handle the conditions. So in that sense, do you think this is advantage Lucknow Super Giants, given that they they face similar conditions in Lucknow and they do have the team to play in those conditions?
Yeah, conditions are one aspect, but I also think it depends, because if Bombay is going to defend a target, I don't think they'll be too successful. But if they chase the target, they have enough power in their batting ranks to chase even 200, 220. Of course, yesterday what we saw, it really was a poor wicket. Like I said, even during the show yesterday, if it is going to be a 160, 170 wicket, then it's not doing justice to the tournament,
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that was a pitch that was served, because I also think that's what serves Chennai Super Kings very well. And the minute they got to that 170 mark, then it was a no-brainer, really. We knew that they would defend it against any team, and they did it. And they did it in style. But coming back to that, I think a lot would depend on if Bombay is chasing or is batting first. If they bat first, I don't think they have the bowling to stop Lucknow from marching ahead. But if they're going to chase, I think my money would be on Mumbai Indians.
Okay, so if they're going to chase, and they've been very good chasers in this tournament, but they've chased those totals down at the Wankhede. Jamie, do you agree with Vedam when he says this, that Mumbai, while chasing, will be the favourites to win, whereas for Lucknow Super Giants, if they bat first, then it'll be important to see how they play. But I'm just going to talk about how these two teams have dealt with injuries. Both these teams have big names that are missing from the team. KL Rahul, the captain's gone, and Krunal Pandya has, led the team well. I think they won 3 out of their last 4 league games. Mumbai were in a similar situation where they had injuries. Their fast bowling unit was depleted because of, Jofra Archer being out, Jasprit Bumrah being out. So both these teams would actually be happy to be making it to the playoffs, to be playing the playoffs, because at one point it was difficult for them to even get here.
Definitely, and I think if you look at, you've already mentioned the injuries to Mumbai Indians fast bowling. I think Jai Richardson also was not. In fact, he didn't even show up in India. Yeah. So between the two, definitely Mumbai were the team which was harder hit by those injuries. But again, they're the team which is probably the luckiest to get into the playoffs, right? They didn't really get momentum until the second half of the tournament, and then they had to thank RCB for losing, that final league match. And it's very rare that it comes down to the final league match or game number 70 until we see who gets that final 4 spot. I agree with Vedam in that Mumbai, because that is their successful template, they will back themselves to chase. But I think, there's been enough examples in the final week or the business end of the league stage where, barring one team, every other captain got it wrong in choosing to chase. And I think here is where Hardik Pandya also made an error yesterday. He thought there was due, and that's fine. You do expect due. But more than that, it just goes back to when you're not sure what to do, when in doubt, just bat. And because Gujarat Titans in 2 years had never played a match in
Yeah.
Chennai, and here Chennai had played 7 matches, why would you want to put the team led by Dhoni, the master of the squeeze? Why would you want to hand the advantage to Dhoni? Dhoni himself, he won't say it on record, but we all know Dhoni would much prefer to bat first and then let his cool, his tactics come into play as he applies the squeeze. So I think 3 blunders from Hardik Pandya. One, choosing to chase. I know it's been a template for them, but it's not happened in Chennai yet. That was blunder number one. Blunder number
Yeah.
two was making changes to your 11. And blunder number three was shifting the batsman who got to a match winning 50 in the last match, putting him down at number 6. So I'm not at all surprised at yesterday's result. And I think based on that, again, this match, Meha, was going to come down to conditions, conditions, and only conditions. Past record, past matchup, it's not going to matter. It's the
Yeah.
team which has 12 overs of spin and batsmen willing to bide their time. And here I think Lucknow, for me, are the favorites this
Yeah.
evening.
I also agree with you, Jamie, given how they've played in conditions like this. And I'm talking about Mumbai Indians, Vedam. Mumbai Indians against Lucknow Super Giants in Lucknow, they lost that game. Mumbai Indians versus Chennai Super Kings in Chennai, they lost their game. Their batters struggled, specifically someone like a Surya Kumar Yadav. How do you see him approaching today's game? Because, his game on a slow surface is not going to work the way he plays at the Wankhede, and that's where he's got maximum number of his runs. So that'll be interesting to see. How do you see him approaching the game tonight? And we'll talk about the other Mumbai batters as well, because I think it'll come down to how Mumbai batters handle Lucknow Super Giants' spin attack.
You're absolutely right. But look, yesterday there was one delivery from Jadeja. I think it
Yeah.
was in his second over, first or second over, I'm not sure, which he bowled to Shubnam Gill.
Yeah.
And that ball just stuck. There was bite in it, there was turn in it,
Yeah.
and Shubnam Gill looked shocked. Even Indian batter can look shocked when such a delivery comes across.
Yeah.
You can imagine how it would be for the rest of them. But yesterday also we saw that the Indian component of it, actually they did well. Even those 20, 25, 30 runs are very useful in these kind of situations. And that's where I think Mumbai they've got Rohit Sharma, they've got Surya Kumar Yadav, they've got Ishan Kishan. And irrespective of the fact that the foreigners have spent more than 1.5 months to 2 months in Indian conditions, I still think there's so much of variety in Indian pitches.
Yeah.
You look at Bangalore, which is flat and you can hit the ball out of the park easily. Or you look at Chennai, where even a score of 150, 160 is so difficult. It's not that they just got those 170 runs. They struggled and struggled and struggled before Chennai got 170 runs. And let's not forget that most of the Chennai guys have been playing on that pitch for donkey's years. So they're used to it. But
Yeah.
even then, they too struggled. So I think a lot of that would happen today when they're playing in Chennai. Both teams are not used to these conditions. Let me make it very clear. Both teams are not used to these conditions. And I think it would come down to how the Indian component of the batting lineup handles it. And I think that way Mumbai has an edge on Lucknow. They have better. If KL Rahul was around, I wouldn't be so sure. But with KL Rahul not around, I think Mumbai have an edge where batting is concerned. Because both sides have got good set of spinners. We never expected a Piyush Chawla at the beginning of the season to do as well as he's done. I don't know whether it is because people have gone after him, the batsmen have gone after him, they've taken him too lightly, or he's really bowling out of his skin. But look at Chawla, really. He is actually a defensive bowler. He's not an aggressive bowler in the Chahal range. He is more defensive. But I think gunning for him, they've gone and lost wickets to him.
Yeah.
So, you have to give him credit. He's hung on there and he's got picked up so many wickets. And I think this impact rule has really helped Mumbai more than any other team. So I would say that batting wise, because Mumbai has got a better set of Indian batsmen, I think they have the edge. But otherwise, if Mumbai chases, they will win. But if they bat first, I have my own doubts.
Okay, now this is the question that we're putting for all of you as well who are watching. Who do you think will win tonight? Which is the team that you're cheering for? Is it Mumbai Indians? Is it Lucknow Super Giants? And we've already got 2 responses. Akash is saying Mumbai Indians will win. Suresh Menon says LSG, if they win the toss, if they bat first, they will win. Jamie, how much of this will come down to the toss? Because now it's interesting. What last night's match did is that it has confused everybody. Because the match before that, which was 4 days ago, prior to last night's match, was Chennai Super Kings versus Kolkata Knight Riders, where there was heavy dew. And I remember Mahendra Singh Dhoni saying this in the post-match presentation, there's no way we could have defended that total. Even 180, would not have been, we wouldn't have been able to defend 180. That's how much the dew factor impacted that game. Whereas yesterday, they were lucky in the way the dew didn't impact them at all. The way, their spinners were bowling, it was difficult to bat against them. Keeping that in mind, I wonder what these teams will look to do. And also because they're so clear in what they want to do throughout the league. Like Vedam was saying, Mumbai wants to chase. They've been good chasers. For Lucknow, they like defending totals. So how do you see that playing out today at the toss?
Again, it all comes down to the conditions. Like I said, look at the last week of the IPL, where barring Delhi, every team was in a must-win situation. 99% of the captains chose to chase. Only one team ended up chasing successfully, and that was Faf du Plessis' team. Like I said, there's enough blundering of these captains, and I'm surprised that captains with so much experience are still falling on that rather flimsy, or I can say cliched line of, we want to know exactly what we're chaseable. I just don't understand this. I'm probably in the minority here. We've seen dew has not been anywhere near as big a factor as people expected it to be when you're in a knockout situation. And this is not qualifier. This is eliminator. You lose today, you're done, right? I have no doubt that Krunal Pandya is going to choose to bat because they are a very good defending side. In regards to Mumbai Indians, their template, and let's face it, they were floundering midway through the campaign. They have revived themselves and done a very good job of getting themselves into the playoffs by sticking to that template of chasing. But this match is going to be played on the exact same strip where Mumbai struggled and where Chennai lost. I just go back to the massive home advantage that Chennai had yesterday. Yes, Lucknow also don't have any home advantage, but you look at those 5-6 matches they played at the Ekana Stadium, which maybe comes closest to this Chennai track. They lost there, they struggled, but I believe that the learnings that Krunal Pandya and his team would have taken from those 5-6 very difficult, very low-scoring matches in Lucknow put them in a distinct advantage where, as opposed to Mumbai, who scored all their runs, all the hundreds came at the Wankhede. One match, the runs came at Mohali, if I'm not mistaken. Otherwise, they struggled in Lucknow, like you pointed out. They had a very bad match in Chennai. Yes, I understand the batting might they have on paper, but something just says that, Lucknow have a distinct edge because they played more matches in such conditions.
I think there's a very valid point there from Vedam also when it comes to the foreign players in Lucknow Super Giants and how they play tonight. It's important there, Vedam, because it's the foreign players who've been scoring runs for Lucknow. The Indian players, I was looking at this, other than KL Rahul, they've only got 2 half centuries throughout the league stages from Indian players. So they've largely depended on Nicholas Pooran, on Marcus Stoinis. Now, do you see Marcus Stoinis, Nicholas Pooran scoring runs here in these conditions in Chennai?
I think Pooran has more or less sorted out the conditions. I'm not so sure about Chennai, but I think he is doing much better this year than he has ever done. But if he gets going, he is a cracker of a batsman, very difficult to control. But let's not forget Quinton de Kock either, because he's been scoring a lot of runs, and in tight situations, Quinton really does score. So, and of course, Stoinis is a power hitter. So look at it this way: LSG has got 2 or 3 power hitters, and so does Mumbai. Mumbai also has got some brilliant power hitters in Cameron Green, and of course Tim David.
Yeah.
Tim David. They are two great power hitters, and also the three Indian batsmen. So I think batting-wise, there are more or less evenly matched. But if Lucknow gets going with these three guys, I'm talking of Stoinis and Quinton de Kock. I expect Quinton to play. A lot of people say that he'll be dropped, but I expect him to play. And of course, Nicholas Puran, who is in the form of his life, he's really playing very all his IPL life.
Yeah.
He's doing very well in IPL this year. So I think Lucknow batting is pretty good, but how they cope with the conditions in Chepauk, that would be a little. That remains to be seen. Again, whether they're batting first or batting second. About the dew, sometimes even if there is no dew, it plays on your mind. You know that it can be devastating. So it plays on your mind. It's not necessarily that dew has to be there. Yesterday, I think it was for about 40-45 minutes. We really saw it so bone dry, and when Jadeja was operating, I mean, it looked like there would be 120 all out.
Yeah.
It looked
it was very difficult.
Pitch. But again, these are things which plays on your mind. It need not necessarily be something happening there, but when it plays on your mind, cricket is a game played in your mind, really. Then not just the batsmen who are out there in the middle, but even those who are waiting to get in, they are also unsure what to do, whether to go forward, back, pull, hit, drive. All sorts of problems come up. And yesterday I mentioned that as soon as what is the youngster's name? Okay, yesterday there was a deep mid wicket throughout when Dhoni was captaining. And the same thing will happen with Surya Kumar Yadav today. I expect a deep fine leg or somebody or at least two people behind square at all time, because I think most teams have sorted out that that is his go-to shot. And I don't think they're going to let him get away with it. They'll have two fielders there and try to cut out that scoring stroke. What he does beyond that, that depends on how good a cricketer that he is. And this will be a big acid test for him.
Suresh Menon also goes on to say Stoinis needs to fire for LSG today, and it is important between Stoinis, Quinton de Kock and Nicholas Puran. One needs to fire. We saw what Ruturaj Gaikwad did at the top of the innings for Chennai Super Kings and the difference that made. So will it be Quinton de Kock? The other question, Jamie, is should Kyle Myers come in now? Is that something that they should look to do? Get Naveen Ulak to sit out, maybe get Amit Mishra as an impact player? Do you see that change happening for Lucknow Super Giants?
Look, it's a very, very difficult one because the same Kyle Myers kept de Kock on the bench for what, 6-7 matches. Now, de Kock got runs in the first match, but since then he's really struggled. And, especially against spin. I mean, the last match against Mumbai, Piyush Chawla took one ball to find his edge. And the fact that a batsman of Quinton de Kock's, his exposure, his class was forced to prod at the first ball. And his record against leg spin also is nothing great. And Lucknow have two very good left leg spinners to call on. I think, yes, like Vedam said, they're probably going to stick with de Kock. Because there's not much difference. If it's going to be a low scoring conditions, if left-handers are going to struggle, then between de Kock and Kyle Myers, how much do you actually have to work with? Yes, Myers has got more runs, but it is after all Quinton de Kock we're talking about, a player who's got a vault of experience. There is also a school of thought, just like very briefly Delhi, not by any design, through chopping and changes, seem to crack that code of playing their 4 overseas players at 1, 2, 3, and 4. There is a school of thought that says, you find a way to somehow get Myers in, because Lucknow's Indian contingent has not been very good, barring Ayush Badoni, right?
Correct.
So, and Marcus Stoinis, yes, he got out for a duck, I think, last match, but that final innings that he played against Gujarat in Lucknow on a track where teams struggled, he came out there and he muscled his way to 70 odd. So you expect a player of Marcus Stoinis' experience and the power that he carries to really bounce back. But again, I think it's a long shot because they're not.
No, so the thing that I was asking you is that get Naveen Ulak out and get.
I'm saying exactly.
Kyle Myers as well as Quinton de Kock.
Exactly. So that's what I was saying. That Delhi Capitals example, it didn't work in more than 2 matches, but it got them to win 2 matches, right? Having Phil Salt, David Warner, Riley, so Mitchell Marsh as your top 4, it's highly unlikely, Meha, that it's going to happen in an eliminator. It's a left field selection, but if I was sitting there, I would seriously consider telling Naveen Ulak, look, this is a spin-friendly track. we've got Mishra, we've got K. Gautam, we've got Bishnoi, we've got Kunal Pandya. Let's just put all our eggs in the top four and hope that Dickov fires, Mayers fires, Stoinis fires, and Nicholas Puran fires. Kunal Pandya spent most of his IPL career batting at 5. He did very well at 3 last match, but it's okay. I would just try to get in Mayers at any cost.
Okay, let's move on. There's a comment that I'll read in a while, but let's also then talk about specifically Indian batters for Mumbai Indians, Vedam. The last time, like I was saying, when Mumbai Indians played against CSK in Chennai in these conditions, Nehal Vadra was the lone batter who scored the runs. They were bundled out for 139-64 from Nehal Vadra. Piyush Chawla got 2 wickets, gave away 25 runs. Kind of gives you an idea of, what you can expect when it comes to Mumbai batting. Of course, it was CSK, a different opposition. There was MS Dhoni, who knew exactly what to do against the Mumbai batters. But how thankful will Mumbai be to find someone like a Nehal Vadra, to find someone like Akash Madhwal, who've put their hand up, especially when the team needed someone, be it in fast bowling, be it an Indian batter who can help them, Tilak Verma, especially when he got injured. So, 2 big positives to have come out for Mumbai.
Yeah, absolutely. I think teams try to have backups, at least for about 5 or 6 players. They try to get backups. You can't get backups for all 15. So they definitely try and get, and I think Mumbai has been lucky with the backups they've had because they've had a lot of injuries. Actually, all teams have had a lot of injuries. But I think Mumbai has come out of it better than most because their backups have been quite good. But let's look at it this way. The tactics are going to be on the first 6 overs. Both teams are going to go hell for leather during the first 6 overs. And we have seen in this Chennai pitch, first 6 overs, if you get about 60 runs, you're actually on a good wicket. So that 60 runs, where's it going to come from? Mumbai are very well served. They've got Ishan Kishan and Rohit Sharma, 2 outstanding Indian batsmen who will go hell for leather. They'll do that. But where LSG is concerned, they just have Quinton de Kock. So which is why I think Kyle Myers will also play in the as an opening batsman, because those first 6 overs is when they really have to milk the bowling. And I think later maybe the Indian batsman can take over and play after that. But in the first 6 overs, you really need to maximize your options. LSG has got another advantage. The left-arm medium pacer Mohsin Khan, he's actually bowling very well off a short run-up. If you really look at it, whenever he's pushed or he's under the cosh, he immediately switches to a short run-up. And he's got better control there. He's doing well with the short run-up. And I won't be surprised if they ask him to go more and more into that short run-up. He's been a good revelation for them. In fact, he's done so well, he's kept out Avesh Khan also. Naveen Ulhaq, I'm not so sure. I think I would prefer KL Myers, again, because Mohsin Khan is doing so well as a left-arm pacer. And of course, LSG's bowling is outstanding. They have 3 outstanding spinners. Gautam is very experienced. So is Bishnoi. Bishnoi has done very well this season. And of course, Pandya, he may not be a big spinner, but he is one guy who will put his life on the line in whatever he does, whether it's batting, bowling, or fielding. And he's got the spirit of the warrior. And you can see that. And as a captain, I think it's enhanced that a lot. So I guess Mumbai will feel the pressure, especially because while they have big hitters, I'm not so sure how they're going to do on this wicket, on this Chennai pitch. But LSG may be having the nod only because they'll be able to push 2 outstanding openers right in the front and go hell for leather. And they have a little bit of backup. But you're right, when you look at replacements, I think Mumbai has got more and better replacements than any other team in this IPL.
Okay, now you were talking about Mohsin Khan and Lucknow Super Giants bowling. Mohsin Khan's done well in the death overs, but the new ball bowlers with the new ball, LSG have struggled. Fewest wickets in power plays, Jamie. Will that change tonight? Because if Mumbai gets off to a brisk start, then that is the one big problem LSG will have to deal with. If Mumbai get off to a good start, then we know the kind of depth that Mumbai have. So, how do you see that playing out? And also, do you see, say, someone like a Ravi Bishnoi coming in? Ravi Bishnoi got both the openers out in Lucknow. I remember both Ishan Kishan as well as Rohit Sharma were out to Ravi Bishnoi. Do you see that as a matchup, him coming in? What's your take on that?
Absolutely. Let's not forget that Rohit Sharma had a rare good day, and he and Ishan had put on 90 inside 10 overs. But then in comes Ravi Bishnoi, young player. But like Vedam said, has a lot of experience for those young years. And it was his 2 wickets. I think he gave 25, 26 runs. His 2 wickets turned a match which Mumbai were very well placed on. 90 opening wicket. How often have we seen Mumbai openers even put on 30, 40 this season? And here they got 90. And again, I just go back to this. Even Amit Mishra, they can call this impact player rule has been so impressive for teams that have the Chawlas, the Amit Mishras. Whereas Mumbai, yes, we're absolutely right in saying, okay, 2 months ago, who would have thought Piyush Chawla is going to be Mumbai's leading wicket taker, right?
Yeah.
But where's their spin backup? I mean, I don't want to sound harsh, but Kumar Karthike and Ritik Shaukin are no Ravi Bishnoi, no K. Gautam, who, as Vedam said, I mean, that's a very skilled, very experienced player, right? And then Amit Mishra, right? So you're expecting 12 overs of spin on a track we can all agree on is going to be very tough to bat on. I just don't see. I'm expecting Piyush to have a very good day, but can we expect the same? Because Mumbai have no second line of spinners. No disrespect to Ritik Shaukin and Kumar Karthike. Lucknow, I mean, Mishra might not even play. That says how good they are when it comes to having a much better spin attack.
Yeah. Okay, here's a controversial question for both of you as well as for our viewers watching. And this is the question that I'm asking. And that question is, how much is Lucknow Super Giants missing KL Rahul? Are they missing him at all? Are they missing him a lot? What are your thoughts on it? Let's start with Vedam, and then you guys can also put in what you think is the answer to that question. Let's start with Vedam.
See, any Indian batter who does well, you definitely need him in the team. And KL Rahul has been doing brilliantly. Why do Indian players, especially the batsmen, go for such high prices in the auction? It's because, they are an invaluable asset. They are too few and they are too invaluable. And RCB couldn't get hold of KL Rahul because he was too expensive. He was, they just outbid for him. And Rahul is somebody, whether it's opening, he can go after the bowling. It's later when he plays spin, he's brilliant playing spin. So he's a sort of batsman. We've seen it even at the international level. He can fit in either as an opener or in the middle order. And he's got the reach, he's got the strokes, he's got the temperament. I mean, he is one of the best batsmen that we have. And definitely LSG would feel the pinch that he is not around. And as a captain also, he's a little low-key, but he knows exactly what he wants and he goes after it. So I think Rahul the cricketer, overall cricketer, batsman, wicketkeeper, and as a captain, LSG would be really, really missing him. And anybody would be missing him.
I think Jamie might have a different opinion on that one. Jamie?
Look, it comes down to KL Rahul is the most expensive retained Indian player in the history of the IPL, right? And Lucknow, when they paid big bucks for him, they wanted to build a team around him. So from that viewpoint, his status, his seniority, what he brings, his leadership, all that puts him as the most important player in that Lucknow team. So definitely they will miss him. I think on days like this, when you have a weak Indian contingent like we're talking about, you want someone who can bat out time. There's no one better than KL Rahul for batting out time. Now, that often hurts his team, as well as it hurt the Indian team in last year's T20 World Cup. But on a day like today, when you need someone who's not going to go blazing guns, who's going to bat out 17, 18, 19, 20 overs, for 70 runs, for better or worse, there's no player like KL Rahul. But that said, there have been certain matches where I have felt KL Rahul not being around has actually helped him, because we've seen there have been too many examples.
Which is what I was getting to.
For a batsman, I'll say it again, like a stuck record. We talk about Suryakumar Yadav now. There was a time 4 years ago when KL Rahul was doing Suryakumar like Yadav things. What has gone wrong with that poor boy? I don't know. He's a pale shadow of himself. Anyone who bats so slowly and puts a price on a wicket and ends up costing games both at the international level and the IPL level, something is wrong. So I will stick with my stance. There are matches where Lucknow have actually benefited from not having KL Rahul. But on a day like this, on that wicket, that's when you want a batsman of KL Rahul's class and experience. So today, they will definitely miss him.
Absolutely. In fact, we had put this stat up, Jimmy. I remember in one of our earlier shows where we put the totals for Lucknow Super Giants, and every time he got out, early, they would go on to score 200 plus totals. And when he did bat, to a 50 or scored 40 odd runs of some, 30 deliveries, they would get out for 150, 160. There was a stat like that. I remember when we had that conversation. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. There's enough evidence in the IPL. The longer that KL Rahul bats, the less chances his team have of winning. It's a fact. I mean, there's no second debating that.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's also talk about. Let's take a few comments here. Suresh Menon is saying, Neha, you were right yesterday. Dhoni did whisper to Hardik. You remember what this is about, Vedam? You were there on the show where I was saying, were they having a conversation? Okay, if you could just put Vedam on a two window with me. And I want to talk to him. So I watched the whole post-match coverage in which they had cut one visual of MS Dhoni. He was meeting people, he was meeting players. There were Gujarat Titan players, young players who were coming, getting their shirts signed. I saw Hardik Pandya coming and hugging Mahendra Singh Dhoni at least 5 to 6 times during that coverage. After every 4 minutes, 5 minutes. So there is that bromance between these two teams, between these two players. And it's nice to see. It's nice to see. But this was a light-hearted banter, Jamie, that we were talking about. That should he just say, yeah, let me win this one. But no, they don't do that. Cricketers don't do that. That's why they play cricket, to win. Okay, Nitin is supporting Lucknow Super Giants, is saying Lucknow Super Giants will win and thinks that the team winning the toss should bat. And Ravi Vaghela is also saying Lucknow Super Giants will win surely. So there are more people on our chat saying that Lucknow Super Giants will win and not Mumbai Indians. Now, we've been talking about last night's match, but let's just relive what happened. Let's just put it out for our viewers once again. What exactly happened last night? So Chennai Super Kings, they showed how formidable a team they are at home after they beat table toppers Gujarat Titans by 15 runs. Now, in what could possibly be, I'm saying possibly be, MS Dhoni's last season as a player, the captain created magic once again in front of thousands of adoring fans as he, along with his boys, outplayed Hardik Pandya's Titans. Batting first, Chennai Super Kings managed to get to 172, courtesy a brilliant 60 of 44 deliveries from Rituraj Gaikwad, who got a second chance after being dismissed on a no ball by Darshan Nalkande, who was playing his first game of this season for Gujarat Titans. With no dew on offer, MS Dhoni then marshalled his troops to perfection, stopping GT's flow of runs in the middle overs. Ravindra Jadeja was brilliant, showed how dangerous he can be when the pitch is slow. There's turn and bounce on it. He took 2 wickets, giving away just 18 runs in his 4 overs. Shubman Gill was fighting this lonely fight against Chennai Super Kings. He, along with Rashid Khan, they tried to put up a challenge, but they lost their wickets at important intervals in the match, handing CSK a win. And now this is Chennai Super Kings' 10th final in the IPL, and I don't think crowds could have asked for more of them. In the way the whole match played out, this was as perfect as it could get for Chennai Super Kings and for Mahendra Singh Dhoni fans.
Yeah, absolutely, Meha. But what you said earlier about the hugging and things like that, I always wondered. I was on national TV as soon as that Gambhir's fight was there with Virat Kohli.
Yeah.
And the same thing question was asked. And I said, look, every event wants talking points, It's a talking point. If they wanted to confront each other, they could have done it in the dressing room. But events have become more popular when they're talking point, and that was just a talking point. It's like Djokovic allowed to come, take the flight to Australia, and then you stop him in Australia and make a hangama of it. You could have stopped him before he took the flight itself. But the event wanted a talking point, and they got a good talking point. Likewise, what is the point in hugging a guy 5 times in the middle of the pitch? He could have gone and hugged him in the dressing room or elsewhere. I think this is all played out for the camera, really. However much you like him, I'm sure you like him a lot. and he respects him a lot.
Yeah.
But coming back to yesterday's match, not just the off the field or after the match events, at one stage, despite Gaikwad batting so brilliantly, Conroy was struggling. He struggled right through those 40 runs that he made. He really struggled. And he was lucky really to survive so many times. But despite all that, at one stage, it looked like CSK would be 130 to 135 all out. It was that bad. They were really struggling. And then towards the end, there were some 20 runs, 30 runs, 15 runs. And that really took them out of jail and got them to about 170. Of course, Jadeja played brilliantly during that stage.
Yeah.
And they gave those no balls, etc., etc. But once Chennai got those runs, it was always going to be, they were supposed to end up winners, and they did. And the way the spinners bowled, we always knew that's what we said yesterday also, Patirana would be a trump card. But even before he came into bowl, the others had already tied up. Like somebody like Jadeja bowled brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly. I think right through this season he has struggled, but yesterday he was absolutely brilliant on that pitch. And I think he changed the entire gamut of the game, the complexion of the game. So Chennai versus the same Gujarat Titans on some other pitch, I'm not so sure. Because man for man, Gujarat Titans is still a better team than Chennai. But Chennai in Chennai, and that too defending a total like 170, they'll always end up winning. And which is what we mentioned yesterday also. We need pitches which will, encourage at least 190, 200 runs. And that somehow in Chennai, it's not been happening. And that's the sad part. And today also, if any team gets close to 200, I'll be shocked, particularly if they're playing in the same pitch.
Yeah. Okay, now this is what Mahendra Singh Dhoni had to say in the post-match presentation. He was asked this question by Harsha Bhogle, and thank God he was asked this question. Not that we got an answer, because that's Mahendra Singh Dhoni for you. He will keep you guessing, and which is exactly what he did last night. Let's put that quote up for everybody to see as to what he said about his retirement. And it's right there. He says, I don't know, I have 8 to 9 months to decide. The small auction may be around December. So I have ample time, and why take the headache right now? He said this. He also said, I will be there for CSK, whether it is in the playing form or sitting somewhere outside. I really don't know. Frankly, it takes a heavy toll. I've been out of home for literally 4 months. January 31st was when I got out of the house, finished my work, and started practicing from 2nd or 3rd of March. It takes a lot, but I have ample time to decide. So he said, why take the headache right now? The problem is the whole country is taking this headache with him. Everybody wants to know whether he's coming back, but I think he himself is not sure. As we discussed this earlier on as well, that he's obviously dealing with a knee that has been hurting him. We've talked about it. He's come in with that knee heavily strapped, and I think that'll be what will decide whether he comes back. And he, of course, has a lot of time to recover from that knee injury as well. So that's one thing. The other thing is what he said about his captaincy, and I want to put this up and then we'll have this conversation. This is what he said about his captaincy, and he says, you see the wicket, you see the conditions, and according to that, you keep adjusting the field. I can be very annoying, captain, because I shift the fielder 1 or 2 feet here and there every time. The fielder needs to keep an eye on me. Imagine you're fielding in every 2 or 3 balls. I'm like, okay, 2 feet to your right, 3 feet to your left. It can be annoying. I always say I believe in my gut feel when I see the wicket, when I see the line. So, yeah, and then he talks of, how you can drop a catch. There won't be any reactions, but you have to constantly keep an eye on what the captain is saying. So this is what Mahendra Singh Dhoni had to say about his captaincy and how he can be annoying. The one good thing is that even if he keeps marshalling his resources, it helps. We saw what happened with Rashid Khan and the way he got his wicket, I'm sure you noticed that as well. Everybody was talking about how, to put Devon Conway at deep point, Rashid Khan bowls 1 out to him, and that was really the end of the game. There is something there. His gut feel, I don't know how, I think he himself cannot figure it out, because he says, I don't know. I just have this feeling that this is where the ball's going to go and this is where I'm going to put my fielder, and it happens every time. So, yeah, Another example of how brilliant he can be, the reason why this country is in love with him.
Meha, there are so many ways of looking at it. I'll be a
Yeah.
little mischievous in this, and I'll tell you it's also the last dice of a gambler sometimes, and that works. Sometimes it really works, you know. This gut feeling, like we spoke about it yesterday also. Yeah, that slice theory of Malcolm Gladwell. You just feel for it. It's something
Yeah.
with you. You just get to know it'll happen. That is the what he calls, if I remember the name right, the power of thinking without thinking.
Yeah.
I think that's what he exactly calls it. And that I think Mahendra Singh Dhoni is blessed with that. And
Yeah.
if you're lucky, it pays off. If you're not lucky, it doesn't pay off. But the other part of it is 100%. Nobody drops a catch deliberately. I mean, or misses a stumping or a run out or whatever. So, and he as a captain definitely will hurt. It will be hurting him a lot when he sees a drop catch, especially when you think that you have a plan and then that plan, everything works except that whoever is supposed to take a catch doesn't take a catch, then
Yeah.
it really hurts. And that's what happens often. But what Dhoni has got going for him is, he's deadpan. He's dead. Whether his team is winning, whether his team is losing,
Yeah.
you can't make out. He's not like a Virat Kohli who will jump 10 feet if things go well for him, but then who suddenly, gets grumpy when things don't go for him,
Yeah.
go well for him.
Yeah.
He's a different guy. I mean,
Yeah.
both of them have their own interests. They have their own charm, and we can't grudge it against anybody. The other point that you made about retirement. Look, many cricketers, when you retire, you're actually at the peak. You're
Yeah.
at the peak of your life. You may be too old for cricket at 35, 38. You may be too old for cricket. But in the corporate world, you are supposed to be at 35, 38, or even 40, somebody on the rise. And unless you have other interests, it's a very, very lonely life for a cricketer. He's seen the glitter, he's seen the glamour, he's seen the lights, he's seen the money, but his best money-making days are behind him at 35 or 38. It's not ahead of him. Whereas in the corporate life, you can actually look forward to making more money when you're 38, 40, 42, 45. But for the cricketer, it's not like that. Luckily now, thanks to commentary and a whole lot of other things, some of the cricketers are kept engaged. It's not everywhere. And Dhoni, yes, he's got his interest in motorcycles, he's got interest in pets. That would keep him going. And I'm sure somebody with, Dhoni's acumen, with his man managing skills, he may not become a manager, but I expect him to sit in a couple of boards as directors and open a few doors for many of these corporates.
Absolutely, because there's so much more to him. Like I was talking to Jamie the other day, and I said, he could be a career counselor for cricketers, because in the sense that he can decide what way your career could go to make it most impactful, which is what he did in a way for Matisha Pathirana, where he said, he doesn't need to play red ball cricket, just concentrate on playing a white ball. The two formats, and he'll do well. Okay, Jamie is also back, and we've been talking about MS Dhoni and his genius, and we've been talking about how he marshaled his resources yesterday and the way Chennai Super Kings won. Now, at the post-match coverage, Jamie, the other thing I saw, which I was telling you about, was Deepak Chahar said, he was asked which is the team that you would want in the finals, and Deepak Chahar said, well, Mumbai Indians, because we have this history. They've beaten us a lot of times, so we want to beat them in the finals. Will Chennai be looking to get? Will they want to get Mumbai Indians? Is that a team you think they'll be able to beat in the finals? I know we're looking ahead right now. Today is Mumbai Indians versus LSG, but what do you think?
I think given the fact that this Chennai Super Kings unit has come back from having a good squad on paper, but having serious bowling problems. The fact that under Dhoni, and who else but Dhoni could do this? Who could take this bunch of players, and take them straight to the final? I think once you look, teams like Chennai, Mumbai, for them it's a disappointment if they don't make the playoffs, right? They have winning in their DNA for various reasons. We've done many shows talking about why these two teams are the most successful franchise. And 14 years, those 2 years there was no CSK, 14 years 10 times now this team has got to the final. So I don't think they'll be too perturbed about who's going to be there because they know now we're in the territory where no one else apart from Mumbai have got to as often as us. This is Dhoni's final year. The signs are all there. He's going to be 42. That left knee is bandaged. He has so many interests, like Vedam was talking about.
Yeah.
This team is just going to be running, and the way they've played cricket, Meha, the signs are there. They want to send MS Dhoni into the horizon as a player. He's never going to leave CSK. He's going to come back in some shape, way, or form because brand CSK is all about brand Dhoni. So again, I don't think. I mean, it's a nice off the cuff remark from Deepak Chahar, but I think inside the camp they're going to make the plans will be the same no matter who comes up. I still think it's going to be CSK Gujarat on Sunday. But whatever it is, Dhoni's planning is not going to change. He's such a cool customer. He doesn't give anything. It's MS Dhoni. He knows, man. We've really got. We played outstanding cricket to get to where we are. One more match, bring it on.
Yeah, absolutely. And how much of this is the presence of mind, to be in that moment? You can have Vedam, you can have monks, these Buddhist monks telling you how to be mindful. It's one thing that you try to be mindful, but to have that presence of mind that Mahendra Singh Dhoni has. Even yesterday, Matisha Pathirana is out. He has to bowl 16th, 18th and 20th over. He goes out of the field for some reason. Is not back, or when he comes back, he's not allowed to bowl. So Mahendra Singh Dhoni decides to waste time with the umpires, and he's chatting with them because he will rather take that gamble of the penalty for over rate than not have his best death bowler bowl. Now it may backfire. It could have backfired, but it didn't. And that just sort of sums up what a cool cat he is.
I like your choice of words, Meha. I really want to latch on to that gamble. That's a good word that you used. And yeah, I suppose so. See, as a gambler, you know which are your best cards. And his best card was absolutely Pathirana. And we've been talking about this for a long time that, I don't think any other captain would have played him. That's why I said you have a New Zealander as a coach who is very staid in his thinking, who is very straight in his thinking, but you have a captain who's thinking out of the box all the time, whether he makes a Joginder Sharma bowl or he makes a Pathirana bowl. I don't think anybody else would have used Pathirana. And look, what is the message it is sending to Pathirana himself? He's a youngster with very little experience, and he knows that there is a captain who's depending so much on him. And believe me, Pathirana would be trying not 100%, 150%. And really, I think what Dhoni sees in him is, which everybody sees. You don't know where the ball is going to come from next, whether it's going to come over the wicket, over his arm, over his shoulder or below his shoulder. And suddenly one ball is down the leg side, next ball is outside the ashram, and then bang in the middle of the stumps, So you're always caught napping with Pathirana. Maybe finally they'll sort him out maybe in another year or two. But right now, he's a gem. He's an absolute gem. And he's a gem who's got the full backing of his skipper. And if the skipper is willing to wait, that's a great message you're sending across. Yeah. And I think that is going to help Pathirana, not just for yesterday's match, but right through.
Talking about backing his players, look at Mahesh Deekshana. A lot of people have been questioning. Jamie has been questioning as to why Mahesh Deekshana is in the side. Why isn't he getting Mitchell Santner? But come the qualifier, Jamie, Mahesh Deekshana does, what he did. And that's the kind of trust that Mahendra Singh Dhoni puts in his players, and the reason why the players perform in the way they do.
Absolutely, and I think only MS Dhoni can do that. He can turn a player who perhaps shouldn't be critical of, like look at Tushar Deshpande. I think, if I'm not mistaken, his economy after 2 matches was hovering near the 13 mark. He's now got that down to 9.7 something. Dhoni has this skill. We're talking about Matisha Pathirana and Vedam spot on. I think the boy is 20. He's at an age where most 20-year-olds are in college or this guy's playing under MS Dhoni. Where he stands to go from here, and I just go back to something that I mentioned earlier in the first few weeks. You look at Josh Hazelwood. Josh Hazelwood was a good T20 bowler. He plays for CSK. They win the title. He then goes weeks later. into the T20 World Cup. Granted, in those same UAE conditions, but
Yeah.
he goes and becomes a T20 World Cup winner. Sam Curran spends one season at CSK. The next time around, he's doing commentary. But when he becomes player of the tournament in a T20 World Cup final and then player of the tournament, he credits the time that spent with MS Dhoni. And I'll say it again, there's no cricketer has gone through that dressing room of CSK, be it one season, be it 10 seasons, who's not emerged a better cricketer from time spent with MS Dhoni. And Matisha Patirana, I mean, what a time to be him, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. The match is between Mumbai Indians and Lucknow Super Giants. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're building up to. We're also asking you this question. Who will be the top scorer tonight? Do you think it'll be Marcus Stoinis or Nicholas Puran, Quinton de Kock? Will it be Suryakumar Yadav or Rohit Sharma? Do let us know in the comment section below. Just coming back to the game then, Mumbai Indians versus Lucknow Super Giants. We've already said that if Mumbai are chasing, then they have the advantage, Jamie. I'm going to ask this to both of you. What should Mumbai Indians be wary of? That's the one thing. The one thing you think they should be extremely wary of, Vedam?
I think they should be wary of the spinners that Lucknow has, and I would still believe that Mumbai has to chase, irrespective of what has happened so far, because they just don't have the bowling. Really, supposing they have to defend about 150, 160, I don't think they have it in them. They need to be lucky all the time to pull it off. So I think Mumbai are better served if they chase, because they have a very powerful batting lineup, a batting lineup which has got a lot of big hitters, and most of them have run into form. They have scored in some match or the other, so they are in good form, they are in good nick, and their confidence levels will be very high, irrespective of the fact that they are playing in Chennai. But I'm not so sure about their bowlers. And when you look at a captain like Rohit Sharma, he makes his displeasure known right through. When somebody bowls a bad ball, he's either cursing or looking at him, and the bowler looks somewhere else. If somebody misfields, and Mumbai is misfielding a lot these days. It is not the Mumbai of the old where there are brilliant fielders. There are a lot of misfielding going on, including people like Suryakumar Yadav dropping catches. And then somebody like Rohit Sharma, he is just letting off steam, and that in a big match may not really work, which is what worked for Dhoni. Dhoni was cool as a cucumber. Like I said, he must have been burning inside, but he never let it on. The whole team was looking at him and he was so relaxed, and they themselves got more relaxed. They were competitive, but they were relaxed. They didn't have anxiety. But I think Rohit actually passes on his anxiety to other players, especially when things are not going well. And that's not a really good sign for Mumbai. But otherwise, I think Mumbai really need to worry about the spinners that Lucknow has.
Okay. And Lucknow needs to worry about the off spinners that Mumbai has, because, Jamie, these are the strike rates of Quinton de Kock, Nicholas Puran, Kyle Mayers and Krunal Pandya. I was reading this somewhere and I thought I'll bring this stat up. Against off spin, the strike rate, Quinton de Kock comes down to 118, Nicholas Puran 107, Kyle Mayers 101 and Krunal Pandya 76. Should they bring in Hrithik Shaukin instead of Kumar Karthike?
This is something which Mumbai Indians have grappled with. There have been, I think, 2 matches in recent times when a third spinner was definitely required, and both times they didn't. So they've kept Piyush Chawla, obviously, leading wicket taker. This is his most successful season, and he's played all but one of the past 16 years. But they've not been able to somehow find the confidence in playing both Hrithik Shaukin and Kumar Karthike, right? One plays, the other goes up. So I don't think there's enough evidence to say, is Rohit Sharma or the think tank, are they looking into these matchups? Because if they really were, probably they would have played these 3 spinners before. But again, those are some very revealing stats you brought up, especially the left-handers. I think of all of them, like we discussed, I think Vedam was very right. This is the best IPL that Nicholas Puran's had. So perhaps when we talk about him, these matchups don't really matter, because we've seen first ball he's going to swing. Yes, I think twice he was caught in the deep on that first ball, but most likely when Nicholas Puran swings, the ball ends up in the stands. So probably he's the one player which could probably rise above 107 striker, I think you mentioned. The other ones, there's a clear problem, but somehow, and this is linked also to what Vedam was very rightly saying about Rohit Sharma, he passes on his anxieties. I think it's time that we stop talking about, he's won 5 titles. There's enough cracks in the captaincy, or we can say the demeanor of Rohit Sharma in the last 2 years, that show that even there, those cracks are widening. Maybe he's not as technically or tactically astute as he was when this team was winning all those titles.
Okay, time for us to wrap it up. 5 seconds each, guys. Don't go into who will win the toss, who should chase, nothing. Your team tonight. Jamie?
LSG.
What about you, Vedam?
I would also say LSG. And when we are talking about statistics and off spinners,
Yeah.
let's wonder if it is Ashwin. There are off spinners and off spinners.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I don't think one size fits all.
Absolutely. I valid point. Okay, time for us to wrap this up. Who will it be? Thank you so much, guys. Jamie Alter as well as Vedam Jaishankar. Always fun to chat with you. So who will it be? Will it be Mumbai Indians or Lucknow Super Giants? Well, both our experts seem to think it's going to be Lucknow Super Giants who will win tonight. They do have the advantage because the conditions in Lucknow, which was their home base, pretty similar to the one in Chennai, whereas at the Wankhede, it was a flat track where 200s were being chased down regularly. So Mumbai Indians will have to do well against Lucknow Super Giants spinners to win this game. Will they be able to do it? Watch the action. Come back for the review here tomorrow. That's it from us. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.